Well, tonight we can report exclusively on how one part of the government is responding to that executive order, how it's going to work in real life. We got this exclusively in the sense that we have obtained new internal administration documents that have not been publicly released. We believe them to be genuine, but the EPA is not answering our questions about them. What these documents appear to show is a fairly sweeping change in how the government deals with questions like whether to ban a pesticide from Dow Chemical when the government's own scientific studies have determined that that pesticide is unsafe. And it isn't just about pesticides. It's broadly about clean air and clean water and things like keeping the public safe from radiation. Again, the EPA did not answer any of the questions that we asked them over the last 2 days about these documents, but what we believe these are internal memos from inside the EPA, and they show the first steps in how that part of the government is going to carry out that "here's your pen, Andrew" executive order, the one about health and safety regulations. Now, the memos appear to be from EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt. They're dated March 24th. You can see there it says, I think we got a close-up, yeah. See the from line? It says from E. Scott Pruitt, and then it looks to be his signature off to the side on the right. This first memo that we obtained calls for EPA regulators to start reporting any action they take, any regulatory action anywhere in the country. It needs to now be reported in a central database. Quote, effective immediately, EPA program and regional offices shall report all regulatory all regulatory actions in the agency's regulatory management system. Regulatory actions to be reported include, but are not limited to, those related to any statutory or judicial deadlines, petitions, pesticide tolerances, significant new use rules, national priority listings or delistings, permits, federal implementation plans, state implementation plans. As a general matter, offices should err on the side of including actions in the system. So basically what that means is that if any action is taken anywhere by any EPA office, any EPA personnel anywhere in the country, a statement on how much pesticide it's safe to leave on a crop, or a response to a petition, or a response to a court, anything has to be reported to headquarters in D.C. Everything, everywhere in the country goes through D.C. now, everything. So that's memo one. That's the first thing that we obtained. That's new. Then there's the second memo we obtained. It specifically cites that "here's your pen, Andrew" executive order. And then it says this, quote, by May 15th, the offices of Air and Radiation, Land and Emergency Management, Chemical Safety and Pollution Prevention, Water, Environmental Information, Congressional and Intergovernmental Relations, and Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization should provide the task force with recommendations regarding specific rules that should be considered for repeal, replacement, or modification. While we intend to do some outreach regarding this effort, I would like the recommendations from those offices to be informed by consultation with their particular stakeholders, and that is all supposed to be done by May 15th. Which is 6 weeks from now. And that's the first step in the process. Obviously, it makes a huge difference who the EPA considers to be a stakeholder affected by their regulations, right? If it's the Dow Chemicals of the world who are getting daily calls and ceremonial pens from the White House, we can imagine some of what, Dow Chemical would like to have happen. Having it all done by May 15th should be no problem for them, since they're talking every single day anyway. But if it isn't just Dow Chemical, if it's also like our lungs and skin and vital organs that have a stake in these regulations, are those interests getting consulted too? As we wholesale plan to get rid of health and safety regulations?